Welcome to the English Vision podcast. Have you ever stood in a room full of people, wanted to say hello, but the English words just got stuck in your throat? You worry about your grammar, your accent, or you just simply do not know what to talk about. Today, we are going to fix that. We are talking about English for social confidence, how to start conversations, and how to beat social anxiety easily. I'm your host, John.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah. That introduction perfectly describes my life a year ago. Going to a networking event or a party where everyone speaks English made me so nervous. I always thought, what if I use the wrong past tense? What if my mind goes completely blank? What if they think my vocabulary is too basic? It is a very scary feeling.
I am so glad you shared that, Sarah, because that fear is the number one reason people stay silent. Let us begin right there with the anxiety. Before we even learn the English phrases for starting a conversation, we need to talk about a psychological concept called the spotlight effect.
The spotlight effect, like a bright light on a stage in a theater.
Exactly like that. In psychology, the spotlight effect is the feeling that everyone is watching you closely and noticing every single mistake you make. When you speak English as a second language, you feel like there is a bright light shining right on you. You feel like native speakers are judging every small grammar error or strange pronunciation.
Yes, that is exactly how it feels. It feels like they are grading my English like a strict teacher. I feel like everyone in the room stops what they are doing just to listen to my mistakes.
But here is the big secret, Sarah. They are not grading you. Most people are completely focused on themselves. They are worrying about their own hair, or if they left the stove on at home, or what they are going to say next in the conversation. When you speak to someone, their main goal is to understand your message, not to correct your grammar. The goal of a conversation is connection, not perfection.
The goal is connection, not perfection. I really like that phrase. It takes a lot of the heavy pressure off my shoulders.
It should. And before we even open our mouths to speak, we can use our body to create a connection. Let us talk about nonverbal communication, which means the messages we send without using any words. This is a huge part of social confidence.
You mean like eye contact and smiling?
Exactly. If you stand in the corner with your arms crossed over your chest, looking down at your phone, people will think you do not want to talk. But if you keep your arms open, look around the room, and make gentle eye contact with a soft smile, you're telling people in the room that you're friendly and approachable. Approachable means easy to talk to.
That makes sense. I can practice looking approachable even before I feel brave enough to speak. But let us say I'm smiling. I look approachable and someone stands next to me. I still have a blank mind. How do I say the very first word to a stranger?
The best way to start is by using what we call a contextual anchor.
A contextual anchor. Can you explain what you mean by the word anchor?
Sure. An anchor is a heavy metal object that keeps a boat in one place so it does not float away. In a conversation, a contextual anchor is something real and shared that keeps you and the other person connected in that exact moment. You do not need to think of a brilliant, funny joke. You just comment on the environment you're both sharing right now.
Can you give me an example of how to do this in real life? Because thinking of something clever is usually my biggest problem.
Absolutely. Let us say you are at a work conference standing near the coffee table. The contextual anchor is the coffee or the food or the conference itself. You can look at the person next to you and say, "I hope this coffee is strong. We have a long day ahead of us." Or you can say, "How are you enjoying the presentation so far?"
That sounds very simple. I do not need a complex vocabulary for that at all. I can just talk about the room, the food, or the weather.
Precisely. And in English, we have a common phrase for this initial conversation. We call it breaking the ice. It means removing the cold, awkward silence between strangers so that people feel comfortable and warm. A simple comment about the shared environment breaks the ice beautifully.
I understand breaking the ice. I will write that down. It is a great idiom. So after I break the ice and say something about the coffee, they might reply and say, yes, the coffee is very good. But then what happens? Sometimes the conversation just dies right there. We both just look at the floor and it gets awkward again.
That happens to everyone, even native speakers. The reason the conversation dies is usually because we ask closed-ended questions.
Closed-ended questions, those are questions that can be answered with just a simple yes or a simple no, right?
You got it. If you ask, "Do you like the coffee?" the person says yes, and the conversation stops completely. To keep the energy flowing, you need to use open-ended questions. These are questions that force the other person to give a longer answer, to explain a situation, or to tell a short story. They usually start with words like what, how, or why.
So instead of asking, do you like this event which is closed, what should I ask to make it open?
You could ask, "What brings you to this event today?" or "How did you get involved in this industry?" Those questions require a real answer, and that answer gives you new information. You can use that new information to keep the conversation going naturally.
What brings you to this event today? That is a very polite and useful phrase. I'm going to remember that one. But what if my mind goes completely blank again? I panic and I forget all my vocabulary. Is there a trick to remember good, safe topics?
Yes, there is a very famous memory trick for small talk. Small talk is the light, casual conversation we have with people we do not know. Well, the trick is an acronym, meaning a word formed from the first letters of other words. The word is Ford, F-O-R-D, like the famous car company.
Ford? Okay, I can remember that easily. What do the letters stand for?
F stands for family. O stands for occupation, which is a formal word for your job or your work. R stands for recreation, which means your hobbies or what you do for fun. And D stands for dreams, which means your future goals or your travel plans.
Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That is incredibly helpful, John. So if I'm talking to a new person, I can just think of the letter O, occupation, and ask them about their work.
Exactly. You could ask, "What do you do for a living?" or "What is the best part of your job?" If you want to use R for recreation, you can ask, "What do you like to do on the weekends?" or "Have you watched any good movies lately?" These topics are safe, friendly, and everyone in the world has an answer for them.
I really want to practice this. Can we do a short role play? Let us pretend we are at a business event. We are standing near the food table. You are a stranger, and I want to practice breaking the ice and using the Ford method.
I think a role play is a fantastic idea. I will stand here and pretend to eat a sandwich. Whenever you're ready, Sarah, you start.
Okay, here I go. Hi there. The sandwiches look amazing. Do they not? I cannot decide which one to try first.
Oh, hi. Yes, they do look great. I highly recommend the chicken sandwich. It is really good.
Thank you for the recommendation. I will try that one. So, what brings you to this marketing conference today?
Well, my company is launching a new product next month, so I am here to learn some new advertising strategies.
That sounds very exciting. A new product launch must be busy. What exactly do you do for a living?
I'm a graphic designer. I make all the visual artwork for our online advertisements.
Oh, wow. Being a graphic designer sounds very creative.
Okay, let us pause the role play right there. Sarah, that was absolutely perfect. You broke the ice using the food as a contextual anchor. Then you asked an open-ended question about why I was there. Then you used the letter O from the Ford method to ask about my occupation.
Thank you. It felt very natural. But while we were doing the role play, I noticed something. When you were talking about your job, I was just staring at you silently. I was trying to translate your words in my head, and I think my face looked very serious. How do I show the other person that I'm listening?
That is a wonderful question. Active listening is just as important as speaking. If your face is totally blank, the other person might think you're bored or confused. You can use very short English phrases to show you're paying attention and enjoying the conversation. In English teaching, we call these short phrases back-channeling.
Back channeling. That sounds like a technical term. What are some good back channeling phrases for a non-native speaker to use easily?
You can use simple sounds and words like, "Oh, I see," or "Wow, really?" You can also say, "That is interesting," or "Tell me more about that." You do not have to translate every single word perfectly in your head. Just reacting to their emotion is enough. If they look happy about their story, you smile and say, "That is wonderful." If they look serious about a problem at work, you nod your head up and down and say, "I understand."
I understand. Wow, really? That is interesting. These are very short and easy to remember. I think I can do that without stopping my brain from listening. It shows respect to the speaker. But I have one more big problem, John. This is the hardest part for me.
What is the hardest part?
Let us say the conversation is going really well. We talked about work and hobbies, but now I need to go to the bathroom. Or maybe the conference is starting, or I just want to go talk to my friends across the room. How do I stop the conversation without being rude? In my native language, it is easy, but in English, I always feel awkward saying goodbye suddenly.
The exit strategy. This is a crucial skill for social confidence. You never want to just turn around and walk away, and you do not want to say, "I'm leaving now," because that sounds a bit too direct and rough. The trick is to give a positive summary of the conversation, provide a gentle reason you must leave, and then offer a friendly closing.
A positive summary, a gentle reason, and a friendly closing. Can you show me an example of how this sounds in a real sentence?
Sure. You wait for a natural pause in the conversation where no one is speaking, and you smile. Then you say, "Well, it was so great hearing about your graphic design work." That is the positive summary. Then you give the reason. "I'm going to go grab a glass of water now." Then you give the closing. "It was really nice meeting you. Enjoy the rest of the event."
It was great hearing about your graphic design work. I'm going to grab some water. It was nice meeting you. That sounds so natural and incredibly polite. It does not feel like I'm running away from them.
It is the perfect formula. And the best part is, you can change the gentle reason to absolutely anything. You can say, "I need to go say hello to a colleague," or "I'm going to find my seat before the next speaker starts." As long as you validate the conversation first by saying it was nice talking to them, they will feel good about the whole interaction.
This changes everything for me. It feels like I have a map for a conversation now. I do not have to just guess what to do. First, I remember the spotlight effect and I relax my shoulders. Second, I check my body language and I smile. Third, I break the ice with a contextual anchor like the coffee. Fourth, I ask open-ended questions using the Ford method. Fifth, I show I'm listening with back-channeling phrases like, "That is interesting." And finally, I use the three-step exit strategy when I need to leave politely.
You summarized it perfectly, Sarah. You have the complete map. And for all our listeners out there, the absolute best way to get comfortable with this map is to practice. You do not have to do all of these steps perfectly the first time you try. Start very small. Tomorrow, try to just break the ice with one stranger. Notice something in your shared environment, maybe the weather while waiting for a bus, and make one single comment.
I want to encourage all the English learners listening right now to try this. Do not wait until your English grammar is 100% perfect before you start talking to people. If you wait for perfection, you will wait forever. Your English is already good enough right now to make a real human connection.
Exactly. Confidence does not come from having perfect grammar. Nobody has perfect grammar all the time, not even native speakers. Confidence comes from trying, surviving the slightly awkward moments, and realizing that people out in the world just want to connect with you.
Thank you so much for this detailed lesson, John. I feel ready to go to a busy networking event right now and test my new skills.
I know you would do great, Sarah. Thank you all for listening to this episode of the English Vision podcast. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember that every expert was once a beginner. We will see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful day, everyone.